Yeah.
So, we have Kaity Cairo, who I adore dearly, who is in our festival this year, our fall festival, virtual festival, in our SaraSolo funness here that we have. And I just wanted to chit chat with you for a little bit so that other people get a chance to see the real Kaity before they get to see the other real Kaity on stage, who's also found a way to theatricalize her life. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about you now. Well, how did you get involved in theater? What attracted you to the theater?
Oh, I've been involved in theater for so long. I was living in Massachusetts when I was little. That's where I grew up, and I started doing a children's summer camp at a theater summer camp at the local community theater, and I took to it right away, obviously, and I really haven't stopped since. And that was at around age 4,
Yep.
and I've just never stopped. And I moved down to Sarasota, and thankfully we have this beautiful theater community here, and I've been involved in community theater. Um, and yeah, that's what brought me into theater in general.
Yeah. And you and I met through Broadway Theater Project when you were 12.
Yes,
You
and that was
became the
very exciting.
mascot of that whole year because Katie was the kind of student who came in who was enthusiastic, said yes to everything. I'll try that. I'll try that. And before you know it, she was given more and more things to do because she was just a joy of a student. You were just absorbing everything, but a pleasure to work with on time. She had all the right tools together that's going to make her successful. Yeah. So,
Thank you so much.
and meeting really, really interesting people. That whole Broadway Theater Project. Yeah.
Yes.
And then,
That entire summer was so exciting.
I know it's really fun. So tell us a little bit about your solo. Well, first of all, before we do that, I have to tell everybody that we worked with Katie last year with Sarah Solo in our Solo Synergy project. We went into Booker High School and worked with the juniors there in solo theater development. And Katie was a part of the second year of that, which was a very fun year. The first year, the students basically all were going to do solo plays and kind of sort of directed each other in a way in the class where your class was really also really doing that. You were really like, yeah, we're writing something, but some people were more interested in being maybe the director of a solo piece. And so here you are, a solo performer, but you were in a collaboration of people that really made the experience profound, I feel, from watching it. But tell us a little bit about last year.
Yes, as a junior, being told that you are going to stand up on a stage for 10 minutes and share your soul is so frightening.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
that,
frightening at 64.
yeah, but yeah, it was a process. It was a very difficult process, going through choosing material, working with your classmates, because I was working with my director who was classmates. I went through different directors, and just really finding what I have to say and making sure that that was original. And I think I was so concerned with figuring out this grand statement when I really should have been focusing on who I am and not making it this large thing when it didn't need to be. And when I did that, I realized that I can exploit normalcy. I and that's what I did. I basically just took journal entries and turned that into a theatrical performance, and it was so wonderful. It brought me so close with my class. We were really just one team, and it was just this beautiful experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, solo theater is not easy.
Oh, no, it is not.
It's one thing to maybe take a play that's a solo play and learn it like a regular play and perform it,
Mm-hmm.
and find the intimacy and the vulnerability in that one character because you have no one else on stage with you except the audience. So the audience becomes your scene partner. But to then create your own piece that's very personal and vulnerable is a whole other animal. But it's I always say to any actor, um, somewhere in your life, create a solo piece that's originally yours, because it'll make you a better actor. What do you how do you feel about that?
I definitely believe that. My entire life, I've been trained to play other characters, and that's what I'm comfortable doing. I think most actors are shy in some way because we find comfortability in other people.
Right,
And when you're forced to really look at yourself and reflect upon that and then create a solo piece out of yourself, that that makes your acting so much better because then you know who you are and what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with,
right,
and how to add yourself to other characters.
right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
working on other characters recently has been like a completely different experience
right, right,
because I feel like I know myself better.
right. I think so. I also feel like, as a person who does this too, what made me a better actor because of doing solo theater is you have when you're writing something, you have to ask the same questions that you ask of how to be an actor. Anyway, have a great
Yeah.
character to begin with, but then it's turned on to you, and you find other depths in yourself, and you find another palette of your emotional body that then you can
Mm-hmm.
add to other things. And I also feel like my communication with another actor on stage is stronger because of that. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to analyze why that's true, except that it is. What's your
I
feeling?
think that it's because when when you're up on stage by yourself, as you said, the audience becomes your other partner. So
Right,
you're so in, it's just you. So you're so in tune to what your audience is doing.
right,
You need that audience. And so when you're actually acting with a scene partner, I think that it becomes very clear the presence of that scene partner
right, right.
because of that.
You really
Yeah.
listen to them in a way that you haven't been able to listen before, I think, too.
Yeah.
Well, now you've had an unusual experience. We asked you to take your 10-minute experience. Just so you know, everybody, the class is supposed to think in terms of creating a whole evening of a show, but then they find a way to create a 10-minute version of that, whether it's an excerpt from something larger or it's just condensed in a 10-minute period. And some of you felt like, well, that was all I needed to say. Um, but Katie really felt like, I think this is something I would like to expand into a full evening. And so we said, well, you're probably one of the most mature people I know. Would you go for it? And so she did. And I want to talk more about that production, but I do want you to know that everyone, this is a virtual festival. It's the first time we've been doing it. And so Katie did not have the experience of doing this piece in front of a live audience, except for the few people who were allowed through COVID-19 to be present in the studio. So that's a whole other animal I want to talk about. So talk a little bit about the expansion of your play, and then let's talk a little bit about now not having that real audience there.
Okay, yeah. The expansion of it, the way my play is formatted, it's just a little moment in my life. It's a character analysis of myself and this relationship I've recently gone through. And I already knew that I will want to expand upon this show for the life because we go through all of these different types of relationships and eventually that 10-minute piece may be just a little 3-minute piece or whatever in the future, but I was able to take that 10 minutes and more happened in my life since last January, and I was able to write fill in the missing pieces of of that play. And yeah, and so performing that without an audience was really interesting. I think the beauty of live theater is that there's that there's a there's a pact with the audience. You know, wait, as an audience member, when you go into a theater, you know that it's live theater and it's not going to be perfect every time. It's constantly changing. But the difference between filming that, people go, and I think that there is an expectation of perfection because it is filmed. And so there was a little bit of nerves with that, and not having an audience to work off of. Laughter, joy, tears was difficult, but I think I was able to create that sense of a live audience through my piece, even if there was no one there.
Well, actually, being there as your stage manager
Yeah.
in COVID Cop, when we were rehearsing, I tried to laugh as much as possible and give you that feeling so
Hmm.
you remember that. And the audience will see that it is like a live performance because you were really good about
Yeah.
playing it as if it were lots of people were there. We had to adjust a couple of things, and we went back to take care of that because of sound and what have you. But it felt like you jumped right back in as if you were in that live situation. So it's
Mhm.
not filmed like it's supposed to be perfection. It's filmed to be like live theater, and
Mhm.
I think we'll see that. Well, I would like very much to invite you back again sometime when we are allowed to have a live audience as an encore to perform this piece. But in the meantime, everybody, please see this magnificent performer create this beautiful piece at 17 years old. She's 17, but she's really 42. She's much wiser than I am. Better well spoken than I am, and her grammar's better. Katie, is there anything else you want to share before I take like something you've always wanted to say, and never get asked?
Oh, wow, that's a large question.
No.
Um, just speaking on my show or on my play, walking into it as an audience member, if you choose to watch my play, um, I think that it's important to remember that. I think that it's important to think about when you were a teenager. Just put yourself in that mindset, because I think a lot of people forget what that feels like, and just remember all of those good memories and all of the bad memories, and put yourself in that mindset to watch my play, because it's really about adolescence and everything that goes with it.
And some adults are still dealing with their adolescence. And watching that, I know a lot of teenagers think, well, I have nothing to say that's important because I haven't been on the planet long enough. But watching your piece, it does just that. It brought me back to remembering that because you shared something that was truthful to yourself, and because of that, everybody could relate to it, and everybody will remember their experience of love, and it's continuing. You're 17. Wait till you get older. More you get to add more to the story, which is really cool.
It's very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll talk about this again when you're 64,
Of course.
and I'll
Yes.
be 80 something. Katie, I adore you. Everybody, get out there and see this beautiful woman. And we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.